What if everything you learned about angels, giants, and the flood was just the surface of a truth that no one had the courage to tell you? While many see the Book of Enoch as a forgotten legend, others know it reveals the kind of knowledge that transforms your view of the world and messes with everything you thought was right. Angels who desired human women, giants who devoured people, forbidden teachings about weapons, astrology, and even cosmetics. This doesn't sound like what you heard in Sunday school, right? That's right. This story wasn't censored for no reason. It exposes the dark behind the scenes of a heavenly rebellion and the divine response that almost reset all of humanity. But here's the key point. Understanding this narrative can help you decipher the present. Why? Because the same patterns repeat themselves, and those who see the signs can anticipate chaos. So stay with me until the end, because what Enoch saw can change not only your faith, but the way you interpret everything around you. They say it all started with a glance. The Watchers, sent to Earth to observe, ended up being seduced by the charm of the daughters of men. It was as if, upon seeing beauty where there should have been only vigilance, they had forgotten their mission. Semjaza, their leader, not only desired, he articulated. He gathered 200 other angels, and together they made a pact on Mount Hermon, an oath sealed with fear, for they knew that if one failed, they would all pay the price. From this forbidden union, the Nephilim were born. Giants, brutal, out of control. Children of transgression. Fruits of a desire that broke the boundaries between heaven and earth. Where they stepped, they left deep marks, as if the earth itself were bleeding. What was meant to be a sanctuary of life became a stage for domination. It was the beginning of an era marked by the corruption of humanity, where the days seemed darker and the nights unbearably silent. This story, which seems to come from a mythical tale, hides symbols that speak of the risks of breaking boundaries. Have you ever stopped to think that often it is in the just one more time that everything falls apart? The transgression of the Watchers was the first step in a collective downfall. And when the boundaries of what is sacred are crossed, the consequences are not long in coming. But what came next was even more terrifying. Shortly after the Nephilim appeared, the earth was never the same again. These giants didn't just take what they wanted, they destroyed everything around them with an insatiable thirst. It wasn't ordinary hunger, it was an appetite that exceeded the limits of what was natural. They consumed animals, crops, and when that wasn't enough, they devoured humans. Each step the giants took seemed to echo humanity's sentence. But the chaos didn't stop there. Azazel, one of the Watchers, went even further. He revealed secrets that should have remained hidden. Weapons of war, spells, astrology, magic formulas, the use of metals, even cosmetics to manipulate the gaze of men and women. Vanity and domination gained new tools, and knowledge, once pure, was corrupted. It was like setting fire to those who were still playing with dry straw. The result? A society where sin became a habit and violence a common language. The earth, in its essence, cried out against such injustice. It is like today, when we see the planet groaning under the weight of pollution, war, and greed. It all starts when someone says, "What if no one knows?" And there, something sacred is broken. But the cry of creation reached heaven, and the heavens did not remain silent. The heavens, which had watched in silence for so long, finally responded. the cry of the earth, the pain of the innocent, the weight of corruption. All of this rose like smoke before the throne of glory. Michael, Raphael, Uriel, and Gabriel, the archangels, appeared before the Most High with an urgent request. How long will evil reign unpunished? It was more than a complaint. It was a cry for divine justice, and it was about to descend like a sharp sword. God, in His holiness, did not ignore it. He issued severe orders. Azazel was to be imprisoned and cast into eternal darkness. The giants, sons of abomination, were to be destroyed so that their evil spirits would not continue to roam as demons among men. The earth needed to be purified, a total reset, as if the Creator pressed the restart button. And in the midst of it all, one righteous man was set apart, Noah, not because of perfection, but because of faithfulness. Imagine what it's like to hear God's voice saying to you, build an ark. The world will be judged. It wasn't just wood and tar. It was faith hammered into every nail. And while everyone laughed, mocked, ignored the signs, Noah continued. Maybe you've felt this way before, trying to do the right thing while the whole world is heading toward the abyss. But those who remain steadfast in their purpose always find deliverance, even in the midst of the flood. When the chaos reached its peak, the watchers themselves realized they had gone too far. They tried to appeal, seeking out Enoch, the man chosen by God as a heavenly scribe. Imagine that. Those same ones who taught astrology and magic were now begging for mercy. They cried out for Enoch to intercede before the throne of glory. But what can an intercessor do when repentance comes too late and justice has already been decreed? The divine response was as firm as a rock. There would be no forgiveness. The fallen angels, led by Semjaza and Azazel, were sentenced to be chained in the depths, imprisoned in dark abysses for 70 generations. It was not just punishment. It was a cosmic reminder that no rebellion against the Most High goes unnoticed. It is like someone who spends their life sowing deceit and is surprised to reap misfortune. But their final judgment was not yet over. It was revealed that on the great day of judgment, they would be completely annihilated, not out of revenge, but out of divine justice. Have you ever thought about that? That even the powerful fall when they defy the order of heaven. And the most curious thing, their condemnation was announced by a man, Enoch, the one who walked with God. But what he saw next was even more impressive. Enoch, the same one who interceded for the watchers, was raptured in spirit to regions that no man had ever dreamed of. Before him stood houses of fire and crystal, so pure and intense that human words fail to describe them. He saw the throne of glory, surrounded by myriads of heavenly beings, where divine justice flowed like rivers of light. It was more than a vision. It was a summons to witness the final destiny of all existence. And then, in the center of it all, a majestic figure appeared, the Son of Man. His countenance shone with authority and compassion, a rare and powerful combination. He was the judge of kings and rulers, the one who discerned the most intimate thoughts and exposed hidden intentions. It was not just an image of future glory, but a promise. The humble would be exalted, and those who today hide behind masks of power would be revealed. Enoch's visions went beyond time. He saw the last judgment, the separation of the righteous from the wicked, the fall of the demons, and the birth of a new earth. A place where evil spirits would no longer have dominion, where divine justice would reign and eternal blessings would be poured out on the faithful. It is as if Enoch had peered into the future to leave us a message. Prepare yourself, for what is to come transcends everything you know. After learning all this, tell me, do you really think we live in a world disconnected from what happened back then? Could it be that the same mistakes, greed, vanity, desire for power, continue to shape our choices today? Perhaps the watchmen are no longer here, but the effects of what they brought still hang over us. Now the decision is in your hands. Will you ignore this knowledge as the mockers did in Noah's day, or will you use it as a key to open your eyes and heart? What changes in your life when you understand that divine justice, evil spirits and eternal blessings are realities in motion, and not just ancient metaphors? If this has moved you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and continue diving into these hidden truths. Because in the next episodes, we will explore even more secrets that have been buried for centuries. And some of them, honestly, may give you goosebumps.